next. Impala Platinum, the world's second largest producer, long been the second player in the industry, in a little bit of a shadow of Anglo Platinum with regard to the scale of its reserves, but certainly operationally has always had a very good team. Terence Goodlace is at the helm there. Its mines, of course, are also in the Rustenberg, Sun City sort of area, but then they have mines on the eastern limb, which is over towards Steelpoort and Mpumalanga. And remember, don't forget, they have Zimplatz, although that asset, of course, is belabored to some extent by the very uncertain political and economic environment up in Zimbabwe. Market capitalization, 27.8 billion rand. It's been a nasty slide downwards as well. Price-to-earnings ratio still positive, 440 though, which reflects the rather slender profits recently reported, not currently paying dividends. So how does the picture differ here? Are you more or less optimistic about them? I mean, they do have some of the same flexibility issues, some of the same restraints and constraints. Huh?
I think if you take the two companies, Anglo Platinum, I think at the moment got, I think, better management team, and I think what they've done over the last 2-3 years is much better than what Impala has actually done. In the old days, Impala used to be the lowest cost producers. They had the best production teams.
Smaller head office.
They used to do everything correct, but it seems like at the moment the all-in sustaining cost is actually worse than what Anglo Platinum is on most of their operations. So certainly a lot of headwinds from that side, and I think Anglo Platinum has actually done a bit better on their cost-cutting exercises, etc. But these guys will follow.
Share chart, stock at 43 rands, I saw. That's awkward.
Same story, same story. But you buy cheap assets normally, and you don't buy the
So speaking about
on
assets, they were going to do something with the Marula mine, which is out in the eastern limb. They decided to keep it. They're making certain shifts and changes with regard to the asset utilization in the main Rustenberg area, focusing on their newer shafts, trying to sort of downscale and narrow down the others. They still have the Zim thing. But the Zimbabwe indigenization talks carry on. There's still that whole drama about how the Zimbabweans want them to put a smelter up there, which doesn't make economic sense.
And they put a 15% hike on exports of platinum, etc. They've taken that away now again.
Have they?
Apparently for 2 years. They're going to keep it on hold with low prices at the moment.
But it was always sold to investors as blue sky upside, because it's a great asset up there in Zimbabwe, and you know, maybe there'll be some kind of political progress in Zimbabwe at some point, and a more business-friendly administration. I don't know.
Look, a few years back, it used to be a much cheaper asset and producing asset. So they actually got platinum out and made huge profits on those.
But the cost of production up in Zim.
So labor were cheaper, and a few other things were much cheaper on that side. So they were actually doing much better on it. But they've certainly struggled for the last 2 years on that. And I think we're discussing Aquarius. We've got a Mimosa holding with them in Zimbabwe. So those have both been struggling. So certainly it's not been the upside story. But I mean, all the bad news are mostly into these stocks, hopefully. I can't say it's certainly in, but it's trading at a price to book of 0.5. I mean, we like handling 75% of global production. We should do better with these assets than we are currently in South Africa.
But everybody knows that a lot of the demand and pricing in the commodity market comes as a function of people's perception around China. So now a lot of people have been saying China's numbers have been unrealistically painted by the government. We're going to see a real downturn in consumer demand there. Consumer prices are going to be moderating, and commodity prices have only got one way to go, and that's down. How do you answer that? Do you reckon that's all just overly bearish talk?
Look, I'm with them on the story on iron ore and so forth, with the industrialization of China that's probably come to an end or going to slow down, etc. And these guys are putting massive supply every year onto the bed.
Platinum
but I
think
platinum is a different story. It's a consumer story.
Yeah. It's a car story and
it's a car story, it's a jewelry story, and I think these guys already had a 6-year slump, and I think they will probably be first out of this commodity slump. So we're much more bullish on the platinum play.
But as far as Impala is concerned, are you prepared to go hot, not? What's your feeling?
We got shares in it, so I think I've already committed about 2% of my fund to it, so we certainly hot on it. It hasn't been nice.
Not yet.
Not yet, so we're hoping for that, but it's too cheap to ignore.
I'm saying nice because I like the fact that we're having this discussion and that there's a difference of opinion, and it's not just one way all the way.
Well, these things are actually, I think, 5% up today. So at least with today, correct. We've just been wrong for 2 months or 3 months already.
So you're hot on Impala. I'm going to stay not hot and avoid the sectoral exposure for now.